ครองแผ่นดินโดยธรรมเพื่อประโยชน์สุขแห่งมหาชนชาวสยาม
This is a very special year for Thai people. This is the 70th anniversary celebration of His Majesty the King's accession to the throne. So therefore, I would like to invite all of us, especially Buddhists, to commemorate this anniversary with the practice of the Dhamma, as His Majesty the King is a role model of how to be a good Buddhist. So use that Dhamma Raja as a model for us to celebrate this very special year together with His Majesty the King.
Sawadee good morning. Welcome to Newsline. I'm Cholapansa Narula. Thank you very much for joining us. It's June the 9th of 2016. Let's take a look at today's news. Beginning in Thailand moves forward. The United States Embassy of Thailand has made public a message from U.S. President Barack Obama marking the 70th anniversary of His Majesty the King's accession to the throne. In the message, the U.S. President wrote that on behalf of the citizens of the United States, he expresses congratulations to the people of Thailand on the occasion of the 70th anniversary of the accession of Thailand's monarch. To mark the historic occasion, the President wrote of His Majesty the King's brilliance as a leader and dedication to maintaining strong ties between Thailand and the U.S. The President noted His Majesty's special bond with the U.S. as he is the only monarch in the world who was born in the U.S. and pointed to King Bhumibol Adulyadej Square in Cambridge, Massachusetts as an affirmation of that connection. President Obama ended his message by stating his wish for Thailand and the U.S.'s strong ties to be maintained and strengthened in the future for both nations to work together against the challenges of the world. Prime Minister General Prayut Chan-o-cha has invited Thais to wear wristbands to celebrate the 70th anniversary of His Majesty the King's reign. The wristbands come engraved with a Thai sentence that translates to, "I will always be a good child to my father. I love my father." General Prayut Chan-o-cha encouraged Thais to wear them on the occasion of the 70th anniversary of His Majesty the King's accession to the throne on June 9th. 1 million wristbands are being sold at selected bookstores and post offices across the country. Each one will cost 100 baht, and the proceeds will go to the Pradabot Foundation under the royal patronage of His Majesty the King. The Ministry of Culture has organized an event to honor 7 individuals photographed in the service of His Majesty the King during his royal missions to celebrate the 70th anniversary of his accession to the throne. The Ministry of Culture chose 7 individuals seen assisting His Majesty the King during his royal missions and sought them out to be honored. Minister of Culture Wirarot Pochanarat handed reprints of the photographs to the 7, with each remarking on their profound gratitude to have served His Majesty. Chalerm Kao Pim, one of the 7, said that despite 39 years passing since his service to His Majesty, he has continued to remember the work of the King and has taught his students about His Majesty's many contributions to the well-being of the people. The Ministry of Culture is inviting all citizens to take part in marking the 70th anniversary of His Majesty the King's accession to the throne by taking a photograph of their home's image of His Majesty and posting it on social media today. Prime Minister General Prayut Chan-o-cha inaugurated the program to improve water and sewage systems to accommodate the rainy season. The inaugural ceremony took place at Thammasane sub-district in Ratchaburi province and was organized by the Royal Thai Army in honor of the 70th anniversary of His Majesty the King's accession to the throne on June 9. The Prime Minister took part in the ceremony to present 70 2,000-litre water tanks for Ratchaburi residents. The ceremony featured exhibitions from locals and the government to honor His Majesty, as well as exhibitions on using solar energy for drought relief and processing methods for water hyacinths. Other features include OTOP vendors offering repair services for agricultural machinery, beauty salons, medical services and vetiver planting activities. Concurrent programs commenced in Krasop sub-district in Ubon Ratchathani, Ban Klang sub-district in Chiang Mai province and Tha Thong sub-district of Yala province. The program will distribute water to drought-stricken areas or areas that suffer issues of water management. Japanese Defense Minister General Nakatani has met with Prime Minister Prayut Chan-o-cha to promote bilateral relations and regional security. According to Deputy Government Spokesperson Major General Wirachon Sukhontapatipak, General Prayut said his meeting with the Japanese Defense Minister will benefit both Thai and Japanese defense units in terms of development and cooperation. Mr. Nakatani expressed his gratitude to the Prime Minister of Thailand for the latter's condolences towards earthquake victims in Kyushu. The Japanese Defense Minister also said that he agreed with the Premier's speech at the IISS Shangri-La Dialogue held in Singapore and praised Thailand's role as a facilitator in ASEAN. General Prayut and Mr. Nakatani have affirmed that Thai and Japanese relations remain close in all aspects. Diplomatic relations between the two countries will reach its 130-year milestone next year. Thailand's industrial sector has hosted this year's Eco Products International Fair to support the development of green industries and promote environmental awareness among consumers. The fair was jointly organized by the Federation of Thai Industries, Asian Productivity Organization, and the Thailand Productivity Institute. It features exhibitions of environmentally friendly products, services, and innovations. Products on display consist of auto parts and accessories, logistics equipment, construction materials, textiles, food and dairy products, electrical appliances, furniture, and IT gadgets from over 200 vendors. The event provides an opportunity for manufacturers and suppliers to connect with buyers, both domestic and abroad. The fair has also scheduled seminars on environmental conservation and energy efficiency for students. The Eco Products International Fair is being held from June 8 till the 11th at Bangkok International Trade and Exhibition Centre or BITEC. Deputy Prime Minister Air Chief Marshal Prachin Chantong and Industry Minister Achakasi Bunryung presided over the opening ceremony. The Deputy Prime Minister spoke about the country's efforts to develop green industries. These industries would promote economic and social sustainability, as well as further the country's goal of reducing carbon emissions by 6 to 20% by the year 2020. The Public Relations Department, in cooperation with the National Anti-Corruption Commission, or NACC, has held its first workshop on news production for combating corruption and misconduct in the public sector and strengthening journalistic integrity. PRD Deputy Director General Pravin Pattanapong chaired the opening of the workshop at the Amari Don Mueang Airport Bangkok Hotel. In attendance were PRD media officials from across the country. The workshop aims to strengthen the ability of media officials to serve as an important provider of quality news for the country and cultivate journalistic integrity in reporting news that is in the public's interest. The workshop is taking place on June 8 and 9th. And that's it for Thailand Moves Forward. We'll now take a quick break and also we'll take a look at the exchange rates and commodity prices. When Newsline return, we'll have a look at ASEAN and beyond.
Don't trust anyone who says, "Trust me." Who's ever earned your trust? I have a friend. He's Thai. He leads a simple life. He finds joy in simple pleasures. He's sincere. He takes to heart the Buddhism belief of using reason and doing good. He follows the King's sufficiency economy theory that advises self-reliance, living without greed and being content with what you have. He shares with others. He takes care of his foreign friends like they're part of his family. And when he's upset, he compromises. He smiles even when faced with obstacles. If you're looking for a friend, what kind of friend would you like? A friend who's ready to lend a hand. A friend that you can be yourself. A friend who smiles at you with sincerity. Trust me. Trust Thailand.
Don't keep your creativity to yourself. Set your imagination free and share it with the world. Calling all college students across the nation. Join NBT World's Young Animator Contest. Create your own animation in English on the theme Trust in Thailand that reflects the Thai identity and promotes a favorable image of Thailand to the world. Submit your animated video no longer than 3 minutes by June 30th to win scholarship prizes totaling 200,000 baht. For more information, visit thainews.prd.go.th/en. Take the chance to demonstrate your talent. The time starts now.
Welcome back. You're watching Newsline. Myanmar's Aung San Suu Kyi is scheduled to visit Thailand from June 23rd till 25th and is expected to meet with Prime Minister General Prayut Chan-o-cha to discuss bilateral issues. According to Foreign Minister Don Paramatvinai, Mrs. Suu Kyi will also meet with Myanmar nationals in Thailand during a visit to the kingdom after her meeting with the Prime Minister. The Foreign Minister also commented on a move by Amnesty International urging the government to drop charges against 8 people who violated Section 112 of the Criminal Code, saying that it is a domestic matter. Mr. Don defended Thailand's lèse majesté law and argued that the case will not be resolved if others continue to blow this out of proportion or involve international organizations. The Department of Justice has attended the second bilateral meeting between Thailand and Laos on further cooperation in combating human trafficking. The meeting, which is being held in Phuket Province from June 6 till 10th, focuses on addressing human trafficking at all phases of trade. It also aims to discuss the details of various agreements, which stipulates policies for prevention and suppression of human trafficking, as well as the reintegration of trafficking victims into society. These details will be incorporated in a second memorandum of understanding, which will address human trafficking at all phases of trade, as well as aid measures for its victims. Both countries had previously signed an MOU on July 13, 2005 to combat trafficking in persons, particularly of women and children. Both countries have continued to enhance joint efforts to decisively combat people smuggling through the establishment of various action plans. In other global news, Chad has sent 2,000 troops to Niger to prepare a counterattack against Boko Haram after the militant group seized a Nigerian town, according to 2 senior military sources. The sources, one at Chadian Military Command in N'Djamena and another in the Lake Chad region where Boko Haram operates, reveal that the troops arrived on Tuesday and were advancing on Boso, a town near Lake Chad that has been the scene of clashes in recent days. Boko Haram killed 30 soldiers and forced 50,000 people to flee when it took Boso on Friday, its deadliest raid in Niger in over a year. The militant group has been trying to establish an Islamic state adhering to strict Sharia or Islamic law in northeast Nigeria since 2009. About 2.1 million people have been displaced and thousands killed during the insurgency. Chad and Niger started the joint army operations against the militants earlier last year. 2 Palestinian gunmen killed 4 people and wounded 6 others in Tel Aviv in an attack at a popular shopping and dining area near Israel's defense ministry. People caught up in the evening assault, one of the most serious in Israel's business and entertainment capital since a wave of Palestinian violence began 8 months ago, told reporters they ran for their lives as shots rang out. Police said they had no advance intelligence of any plan to strike in Tel Aviv. Palestinian street attacks have included stabbings, shootings, and the ramming of cars into pedestrians. The frequency of these attacks in Israel has slowed significantly in the past several months, but tensions has remained high. Police said both of the gunmen who opened fire outside the open-air Sarona shopping complex were apprehended, and one of them was wounded. According to hospital officials, 3 of the 6 people wounded by the gunmen were in critical condition. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, returning from a visit to Moscow, convened consultations with security officials at the Defense Ministry in Tel Aviv after the attack. In the last half year, Palestinian attacks have killed 31 Israelis and 2 visiting U.S. citizens. Israeli forces have shot dead at least 196 Palestinians, 134 of whom Israel has said were assailants. Others were killed in clashes and protests. Scores of Venezuelans crossed the border into Colombia in search of food and basic supplies as supermarkets in the OPEC nation run bare. Smugglers have been crossing into Colombia to buy flour, rice and even diapers for desperate shoppers back in Venezuela. For years, Venezuelan smugglers had been doing the opposite, transporting heavily subsidized foods into Colombia. However, crisis-hit Venezuela is suffering drastic food shortages this year and local resale prices are spiraling. Leftist President Nicolas Maduro last year closed crossings into Colombia to try to end the smuggling he said was bleeding Venezuela dry. The about-face in smuggling routes in the last few months was clear one morning late last week when journalists saw hundreds of people streaming into Colombia to buy food, medicine and basic hygiene products across the murky brown rivers that mark the 2,300-kilometer border between both countries. The cross-border business is driven by Venezuela's worsening economic crisis. Poor and middle-class people brave food lines for hours back home, but increasingly end up empty-handed. Many are forced to skip meals and survive on mangoes and plantains or forage through garbage. Organisers have said that the Euro 2016 soccer competition is not subject to any specific terror threat. The statement comes 2 days before the tournament opens amidst heightened security in France. Euro 2016 organiser Jacques Lombert said that the organisers do not know of any precise, concrete, targeted threat on Euro 2016 on a specific stadium or on a specific match. He believed that statements by certain countries were made in caution rather than certainty. Fan zones in host cities where thousands of spectators are expected to gather to watch matches on giant screens have been subject to safety concerns, but they are set to go ahead, albeit with 2 layers of security screenings. Lambert admitted that continued transport workers' strikes are a source of concern as hundreds of thousands of spectators and participants prepare to crisscross the country for the month-long tournament. The protests were part of a wave of demonstrations and work stoppages led by the hardline CGT union against government plans to reform labour law to make hiring and firing easier and help lower the jobless rate from 10%. The career of Russian former world number 1 Maria Sharapova was in tatters after she was given a 2-year ban by the International Tennis Federation, or ITF, following her positive test for the banned drug meldonium. The ITF said in a statement that the 5-time Grand Slam champion's ban would be backdated to January 26 this year, meaning her results and prize money from the Australian Open, where she reached the quarterfinals, would be cancelled out. 29-year-old Sharapova said she would appeal to the Court of Arbitration for Sport, or CAS, describing the punishment as unfairly harsh. She said an independent tribunal in London on May 18 and 19 had found that she had not intentionally violated anti-doping rules. The ITF said the ban, which could have been as long as 4 years, had been backdated, due to Sharapova's prompt admission of taking the substance and would end on midnight of January 25 of the year 2018. Sharapova has regularly battled back from serious injuries during her glittering career, but the 2-year ban means she will not be eligible to play until after the 2018 Australian Open, when she will be 30, and raises the question of whether she will ever play again. A teenager was rescued from a waterfall in Greenville, South Carolina. The 19-year-old man was swimming above the waterfall when a strong current pulled him over. Dozens of onlookers gathered on a bridge to watch as a rescue team from the Greenville Fire Department used ropes to climb down to reach the teenager. NBC said that he was not injured in the incident. And that's it for today's edition of Newsline. Thank you very much for joining us. If you do have any suggestions or comments, our email address is newsline.nbt@gmail.com. Please write to us. Today we say goodbye with some pictures of a rare red ruffed lemur, that is. And this lemur was born almost 3 weeks ago at a zoo in San Diego. I'm Chalapansan Rula. Have a great one. Sawasdee ka.